Hey everyone, welcome to week 10 of HOS-265, Hospitality and Travel Law. This week we're going to be going over Chapter 11, which is your responsibilities for guest properties or property. The one thing that kind of sticks out to me when it comes to guest property and our responsibility is I feel like on the surface, a lot of us just say, oh yeah, I understand. I got to keep up with guest property. I'm responsible for guest property. While that might be a good blanket statement to make, what we're really trying to figure out here is exactly what are we responsible for and how we are responsible for it. So there are three different parts to this chapter. Again, and as we've seen in the last few chapters, it's a pretty short chapter. Only, let's see, only about 9 or 10 pages, but some of which are examples, and things like that. So not a whole lot to read. So, don't just overlook it because you don't want to read a long paragraph, or excuse me, a long chapter. It's not overly long, but again, liabilities, bailments, and then unknown ownership. What our responsibilities for each of those are. Again, you'll see your agenda there. I put in there, obviously we're in week 11. Next week is spring break. And I just put a little note right there to take time to assess where you are in the course. And that could be your grades, what your overall understanding is of the course content. Do you feel like you are learning or you're not? And if you need to, talk to me or figure out a way in these last 4 weeks to really kind of pull everything together for you, because again, I don't want you to move on either to the rest of your classes or to your employment, at least not having a general understanding of some of these legal issues and how to protect yourself based on this class. So again, 4 weeks left in the class. You should kind of know where you are and what you need to do to achieve your expected outcome. That could be anything from failing to passing, or B to A, C to B, anything like that. You should know where you are and what you need to do to achieve your outcome. And as always, I can't stress this enough. Should you have questions, please stop by and see me. Okay, I've gotten to meet a lot of you over the semester, but there's still quite a few that I only get to grade your work every week and have not made not met you in person. So if you'd like to, I encourage you to come on by. All right, additional instruction for the week I put in there, and this kind of piggybacks off of what we talked about with assess your situation, or excuse me, assess where you are in the course. Just a reminder, each week there are multiple assignments that are due. All of those are required to meet all those are required for us to meet our purposes of a 3 CEU online course. So again, we have to do these things in order to offer this class. So, just like many of your other classes that are in person, you have multiple assignments due this week, but you're also there for a lecture. So that counts as part of it. So we do have those. Failure to complete any of those assignments obviously is a 0 for that individual assignment. And each individual assignment does carry weight towards your overall grade. Things are weighted different. Tests, quizzes, projects, attendance grade, discussion board, all of those are weighted different. But consistently missing them or missing them all for 1 week can really have an impact in your overall grade, of course, negatively. This week, quiz number 11 is due. You have an attendance question for chapter 11, and then you do have a discussion board post. So if we go up to our course content here, as we do every week, and we roll down to chapter 11, have some ideas there about our course outline, your PowerPoint, flashcards, your Kahoot to help you practice for your quiz, your attendance grade, a day in the life of a hospitality manager, little thing on SC property liability. It's good there. This court case here is a big deal. It's involves someone leaving items with the front desk to be placed in a safe for safekeeping. with jewelry that were valued over $150,000. It was, of course, lost or stolen without, you know, without an idea of, knowledge of the inn, uh, and all of that. So it gives you an idea there of kind of how things do happen. And this was in North Carolina, so it is kind of close to home, I guess you could say. Our attendance grade for the week, you're going to analyze the situation in 11.2, and that is on page 207. This is a good example of something that really does happen. I know I say that each week, but I can't stress to you guys enough how real some of these are. So, as you go through those, take it seriously and really, really think about the situations and how you would respond. But before you just respond with your opinions, and I left feedback for individuals this week, before you just respond with an opinion, remember to reference the book, okay? Can you answer some of these questions? Well, sure, you're just going to give your opinion of what number one should be or what number two should be. But use the book as reference. That's part of it, okay? Not just making a decision, but making an informed decision based on what you've learned in the book. And again, I think a lot of us have probably heard we're entitled to our own opinion. While that's true, we also need to understand that we should be entitled to our own informed opinion. And we learn that through reading the chapter and understanding definitions. Because again, like I said in the very beginning, a lot of times we feel like, oh, we found this was guest property, I'm responsible for holding on to it. What is the time frame there? What happens afterwards? What type of keeping are you supposed to do for it? That kind of thing. All that can be found here in this chapter. But I did want to go over a couple of examples that kind of resemble analyze the situation 11.2. So from my experiences as in managing hotels, quite frequently things go missing. And we are probably all creatures of having left something behind, right? Something as small as, I say as small, but something as, little as a pillow to a t-shirt, to a computer, maybe even a firearm. It could be any of those things. And what our responsibilities are for each and every one of them, how long we have to keep them, again, and what happens after the fact. You would be surprised, but you might be shocked to know just how much is left in Lost and Found from housekeeping and how much they find left in rooms. I'm not talking about one leftover sock, that doesn't have the match anywhere. I'm not talking about, a pen and a piece of paper. I'm talking about true on items of value to the individual and what is left behind. Within that, there's also talks about what is our liability for individual property. It talks about safes in rooms. And then along the lines of, let's say, for example, and I had this happen before too, really nice BMW Pro-Am, which is the local big charity golf tournament that we have where famous people come in. And a lot of people pay a lot of money to either play as an amateur in the little golf tournament or at least attend and do some of the events where the famous actors, actresses, athletes, and so on are going to be. Well, we had the instance where we had a very nice Mercedes that was valeted with our staff. Okay, and part of valeting is us saying, we don't have any responsibility towards, your property. We're free of any, damages, and that's written on the back of your valet ticket. But let's say we take that into, the garage and we park it in our valet spots, right? Well, we only have 10 valet spots. Outside of that, we are required to then valet your car somewhere else. So let's say I put your car in a regular parking spot and someone opens their car door and just smashes in the passenger side car door for you. What is the hotel's responsibility? What are we protected from? What's our liability? Things like that. All of that is covered there. A lot of this is going to be hey, we should probably just contact our insurance and let them know what happened. But the key is you need to get ahead of situations like that when you realize what's happened. You don't want to just let it go and let the customer find it, the guest find it, and then say, oh, well, we didn't realize what happened, and try to cover it up. You want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence for the individual. A few definitions in this chapter that you'll see. Again, I think there's only 7 definitions here, so not overly busy when it comes to those. But some of these words that we're probably not familiar with, um, but that we've heard or seen before and kind of just passed off, or either heard them, uh, you know, with a synonym or something like that. But a big deal here to understand what we're responsible for when it comes to guest property. So looking back at everything that we have due this week, your attendance grade, you have a quiz this week, the Kahoot's there to help you, and you also have a discussion board that's due for week 10. It's listed there. Should be pretty simple for you to do as you gear up towards spring break. I hope you all have a great spring break. If you need anything at all, please let me know. I will do my best to continue working on the course during spring break. So if you have any questions or anything, and send me an email, I will try my best to respond in the same manner in which we do while we're in class for the week. If you have time and you're able, do not forget. Do not forget that we do have the project due for our employee handbook that last week of class. So if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to let me know on that either. Some have come in and asked for feedback, which I'm glad to do. I won't tell you what's right or wrong, but I will give you feedback on certain sections. And just a reminder, you cannot copy and paste an entire book, handbook from somewhere, not the examples, not online, or anything like that. You must at least add things that are specific to your business. And we do that because each and every person that turns this in will go through Safe Assign, which is a check for your overall originality score. And you'll see that before I do. So if you see 100% or something like that, then of course I'm going to be a little more hesitant to say, this looks like a good one. I'm going to see exactly where they all came from. So if you have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to let me know. I know I say that a lot, but I can't stress it enough. Beat the dead horse, however you want to say it. Again, it is imperative that as things come up, or questions or comments or concerns, you let me know, because again, we only have 4 weeks left. As we get into the last few weeks, it's hard to go back and change things that have already happened, but we can fix the things going forward. So I hope you all have a great rest of this week and spring break, and I look forward to talking to you and working with you all on the course again on the week of the 27th. So, or 27th. So have a good week.